Buzz, y'all, and welcome back to the Baron's Hideout podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Anna.
And I am Dustin.
Yay, I'm still so happy you've caught up and can join me now.
Me too.
But we are here to talk about Yellowjackets Season 3, Episode 4, 12 Angry Girls and One Drunk Travis. And we are not alone. We have a guest we teased last week. It's not his first time on the Baron's Hideout, but it's his first time in our Yellowjackets hive here. It's Sean O'Rourke from Movie Dumpster. What's going on, Sean?
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing? Anna and Dustin, how you been?
Doing
Pretty
good.
good.
It's great to have you on. This is believe it or not, your third time over here already.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
In
Most
like the
recently.
span of like 4 months.
Yeah,
Yeah, most recently for Radu. He was there for the Radu sauce
Oh yeah,
debacle.
Right, yeah.
Went down in
What was
history.
that movie?
Subspecies.
Subspecies. Right. How could I forget? Yeah, I'm leaving the movie dumpster. I'm taking a break over here. I'm going to. I was trying to go to the soccer championship, but unfortunately, for 3 seasons, I've been stuck in the Pine Barrens.
Yeah.
With the girls and with the coach. We're gonna talk about Coach. Oh my God,
Gosh, yes.
Ben. Oh my God, what a character.
Yes.
But thanks for having me. I love Yellowjackets. Actually wearing a Yellowjackets t-shirt.
Nice. Me too. I got my
I don't
Kai
have one
Kai
yet.
shirt
I
on.
don't. I got Ghostface. Is that close enough?
It's 90s. It counts. I'll count it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
cool,
sure
cool.
they've seen it.
I got this from Halftone Horrors. They put this out. I got it at a convention. I don't know if you can even get it anymore. You know, a lot of times people, if they have the stuff at the cons, it's leftovers. But it was pretty cool, so I grabbed it a couple years ago.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got several halftone horror shirts. I've ordered from them, and then they also go to Horror Hound in Ohio, and I've been there several times and bought from them. Yeah, awesome people, love their stuff. So, Sean, have you watched Yellowjackets from the beginning, or is it something you kind of started later? Beginning?
Pretty much the beginning. My wife first watched it and was like, "Wow, you really need to see this show," kind of thing, and that happens
Right.
sometimes. And so like we kind of binged the first season, and then when the second one came out, watched that weekly, and then now third season weekly. I didn't get a chance to go back and rewatch it. Didn't really plan that one too well. I basically remember what happened. I'm sure I forgot certain details.
Same,
but,
yeah.
Really enjoying the third season so far. Couple things I'm not crazy about, but that's kind of the carryover from season 2, and it seems like they're starting to kind of make good on the parts maybe that I'm not crazy about. So we'll see.
We'll see, yeah. So you say you're into this season so far? I feel like a lot of people, like Dustin and I've talked about, we're just kind of fed up with the adults, and I'm feeling that way a little bit more this episode. Like, do you feel that way at all, or are you on board for it all?
I mean, I kind of from the get-go have always like preferred the A story, let's call it, the crash landing. I keep wanting to say island because I keep wanting to compare this to Lost.
Lost, yeah, I know.
That's the thing that
Even
people have
though
been doing. Yeah.
It is very different because I was actually kind of thinking about that earlier, and I won't go into it because I realized that my logic is not making sense. But I was like, oh, it's kind of like Lost, but maybe it's not. But they keep saying, oh, they crashed on an island. But no,
Yeah.
since they crashed in the Pine Barrens, I always like that story's more interesting. It's like the Battle Royale or like the what's one with Piggy, the famous one? What's the name escaped me? The conch shell.
Oh.
The one is basically Lord of the Flies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lord of the
yeah,
Flies.
Lord of
That
the
is.
Flies.
Yes.
They haven't quite gotten totally in that territory. As the cannibalism stuff kind of echoes that a little bit, but I always love that element. And the adult stuff's interesting, but they killed my favorite character off, so it's like,
Was it
Natalie's,
Nat?
Yeah,
Yeah, mine too.
she still is the kid.
Yeah.
for lack
Yes.
of a
Yeah.
better
So
term,
she's still
teenager.
there, and in some sort of form. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just really curious where it's all going to connect. It's kind of like the adult storyline has a lot of spinning plates, and if they don't land it, it's really going to be disappointing. I would be shocked if the flashback or the original, I don't even know what to fucking call it, the 90s storyline, if that isn't satisfying, that would really be a gut punch. But I think that's really building towards something. But I don't know about the adults. I hope that it all comes together. The way the show's edited, everything's very intentional, the way they string these events together. It's actually the writing. It kind of just sells the whole show. The writing and the acting, which you may have already talked about. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't think there's any bad actor.
No.
Like even people in the background who don't talk at all are very expressive.
And like all the kids, I feel like they all knock it out of the park, and they're all young. Like they all have to be at least like early 20s, maybe even late 20s,
early to mid 20s.
Yeah,
I mean, they're definitely putting like Sophie Thatcher definitely has gotten to look a little older, and Ella Purnell. I mean, she's obviously only in it a little bit, so they kind of try to hide some of their features, which I think is actually pretty good production value.
Oh,
or
yeah.
design rather.
Yeah, they've definitely got the money, that's for sure.
Oh, now, yeah, for sure. For this season,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just upset,
Coach.
Anna.
I want to talk about Coach. Is that where you're going?
I was gonna talk about the theory that we threw out last time, but I do want to talk about Coach too, of the blonde that we were talking about, right?
Right.
Who we were
Hmm.
thinking, oh, it might be
Mm,
whoever it was. I was really, really hoping that this episode we were gonna get some more of that because I wanted my theory to be right.
Yeah.
Really,
There's still
really did.
time. There's still time. We've got 6 episodes. Last week we came up with this theory, mostly Dustin, about how, in the first episode when they're at Natalie's, like after Natalie's funeral and they're drinking, it does that zoom out and Shauna feels like somebody's watching her. And we
right.
see like blonde hair in
Hmm.
that shot. And then Dustin brings up a banger revelation, and I went back and watched it. I was like, holy shit. When Lottie and Callie are shopping, there's a blonde with
Oh,
short hair that looks like Misty from behind, like behind them the whole
right.
time they're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
talking. So
Huh.
we were like, well, maybe it's this blonde who's causing all this havoc and she's trying to blame Misty. So she's putting a wig on and kind of disguising herself, kind of thing. But we didn't
Well,
really get much of Misty this week except being
no,
pissed that
no.
Shauna was volunteering at
Yeah.
the retirement place.
If that's a good observation, I wonder if that's in there too, just to fuck with Shauna, because she's the one that's kind of instantly like Misty. Which if you're watching the show, it's a reasonable conclusion to come to.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. She's not wrong for feeling that way.
No,
Yes.
no. But I feel like also the deeper you get to this show, I start to realize that wow, as fucked. I used to think Misty was the worst, like most fucked up character, and she still might actually be. But like after this season and like the tail end of the last season, I'm like, wow, Shauna, wow, Lottie, the both of you, like maybe you should have been left fucking behind because like they're incredible characters. I kind of think about it. It's not a 1-to-1 obviously, but like a Walter White. That show in a very different
Yeah.
direction. But
Okay.
like these
Yeah.
characters that you're just like, wow, they're so well written, and you kind of feel for them. I mean, I think you feel a little bit more for these characters than Walter White. But I'm kind
Right.
of just like, the more you learn about Shauna, it's like, what the fuck happened out there? But they're 16, 17. I don't know.
Yeah. Still a growing brain. They don't know how to like cope with this kind of thing.
No.
Most of them don't know how to be outside in the wilderness, but I think they've adapted pretty well over time.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
we
yeah,
Um,
they
yeah.
actually talk about that with Coach brings that whole up in this episode too. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool things that they've done as kids to survive. I mean, some of it not amazing, but what they're at right now and what we're seeing is astonishing. I wouldn't be able to do
yeah.
any of this shit.
Oh my god, I couldn't eat somebody. I
Oh
couldn't cut
no,
somebody up like Shauna is a Shauna is a savage, but I gotta
she
say,
is.
young Shauna is pissing me the fuck off right now.
Mm.
I'm so like, I don't know. We still don't know for sure if it was Coach Ben. Like even us as the audience, it has not been confirmed, yes or no, that it's him.
I don't think it was him. I think it was this thing that's in the forest. Again, this is kind of why I start thinking about Lost. I mean, it's. I hope it's not a 1-to-1. I love Lost, but a lot of people kind of, no pun intended, got lost on that show towards the end there.
Yeah.
But I
Right.
just think of their very. I mean, they set this up in season 1, but they've kind of only hinted at it in 1 and 2. Now I feel like they're really trying to hammer home that there's an entity or there's a curse in this fucking land that they're on.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
there's like those sigils on the trees they show in the first season, and whatever Lottie, or no, not Lottie, Ty is seeing that, which they actually explained in the last episode. I was kind of shocked they went into that with the eyeballs,
I
Yeah,
but
know
that
that was
dude.
crazy. That
I
was
would
so
wanted to see
crazy.
more from this episode, but we didn't get any of that.
no, and I was kind of convinced for a while there maybe Dark Ty lit it on fire, but then they had that whole vision, which I guess just again because they're only
We talked
16,
about that.
they're not thinking about the repercussions of that. But like
Yeah.
Van is sitting in that fucking chair with the ember flying out, and I was like, well, maybe that's what happened. Just like, why
That
did that
That's what we talked
airplane
about, I think,
explode?
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like, why did the plane explode? Why did this happen? Why did that deer or the bear magically appear? It's like the forest is like helping them, but also taking from them. And I have this long-standing theory at this point. I think that might come true where I feel like the reason why they were allowed to eventually leave is maybe that the forest or whatever the fuck this is. Okay, they find a tree in a goddamn cave, like it's a James Wan movie in the last episode.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, that ran out of victims or it needs more victims. So you can go out and get more victims. And it took X amount of years and then we come back to it as adults. But I think that's where it's leading. I just don't know what this thing is. It's like a
Interesting.
kind of classic curse thing, but is it deeper? Is there going to be a witch that shows up? Is it going to just be, nope, it's cursed, you guys are fucked? Like, I don't know. It's really intriguing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting that you say that. And with you saying that, thinking like what Van and Ty are doing in this, how they're
Right.
essentially looking for victims and trying to see if that's what's happening, that kind of goes into your theory of it being like, okay, you're doing exactly what I want. You are
Yeah.
doing this thing. You're playing the stupid card game. And like when the little
Right.
girl went to go grab that, I was like, no, guys, let's not go there.
I was like, y'all didn't think this one through, did you?
And Van's just like,
Yeah.
oh.
Well, Van and Natalie seem like the only ones that kind of came out of this with some kind of morals or empathy. Everybody else seems like they just went off the fucking deep end. Like, what is Ty thinking? Like, oh, we're gonna get this entity to take the rest of your cancer. And Van's like, kind of like, maybe. But as soon as it's becoming a little too real, she's like, we shouldn't do this. And Ty's like, we have to. You'll die. And I'm like, you
Yeah.
remember your wife and son? What had happened to them, by the way?
I know we have not seen them or heard anything about them, and it's like, does she even care, or is she just on this like long lost love trip with Van right now?
I think
Well, there is that.
what I want to think, and maybe throw this out there, is that it's possible that Dark Ty and Normal Ty have fused. And in some kind of way, there's a middle ground. Now she's with her past. She's with Van. She
Yeah.
essentially let go of her current life because it was all in shambles. So even if she was going to try to go back to that, I don't think there's any way to salvage anything because she ripped it all. She ripped it all apart.
Well, the dog and all
Yeah.
that.
Everything.
And
And even
The
when she found it,
altars.
she was like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you did that. That was you, and you know that was you. That was that part of you. And now that you literally have your old life back with Van, I think whatever side that was is content now and is allowing it to essentially let some of her normal self out.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is. They're just going heavy into the. Again, I want to just call it a curse, but whatever this thing in the forest that Lottie is making Travis fucking take shrooms to see, it is a real thing, and it's clearly been building to this the whole series. And if you think back to even Travis's death and some of these other characters' deaths, it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, this is kind of crazy. Like to think back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the detail that went into the story planning. I've always said like I feel like this show has always had some sort of end game. I don't feel like they go into each new season and be like, okay, how are we going to connect these dots? It
No.
seems planned. Even though I don't necessarily agree with the pacing sometimes, I'm just
Yeah.
like, I need to know. But I feel like that's why I'm frustrated right now, just because, like, especially with the adults, like we've got Jeff and Shauna doing community service.
Jeff
I
was
was very
great though.
happy. Was very happy. I'm always happy to see Jeff. He
It was
is such
funny.
great comedic relief. He's like, I need some positive karma. I've been so bad. And he was really getting into that bingo gig at the retirement place. And we did get to see Randy. I love to see
You
Randy
get so
Walsh pop
annoyed.
up. He cracks me up. But then we get to the wilderness, and a lot of, I mean, it's happened in the other two seasons, but a lot this season they've been heavy on what's happening with the girls in the wilderness is very much mirroring what's happening to them right now in real life. So for instance, I feel like the reason Van is so hesitant now is because she feels so much guilt about what happened at Coach's trial. She's the one who had that vision of the ember.
Right.
I think it's either the ember flew out and burned the place down, and that's why she saw that, or if they were still sleeping in shifts because they just needed somebody up, and maybe that's why she was seen sitting in front of the chair or sitting in the chair in front of the fire. Maybe she fell asleep when she was supposed to be on watch. That's when the ember popped out and burned the cabin down. She saw that for a reason.
Yeah.
So I think she felt so much guilt that now she's like, she's not as quick to jump on the culty wilderness stuff as she was in the wilderness.
Okay.
And,
Well,
yeah.
but her weakness is that she just does whatever Ty says. Because even like we're gonna talk about it, I'm sure. But when Coach gives his whole like kind of plea as to why this is fucked up and why this shouldn't happen to him, she kind of seems like she's gonna agree with him. But because Ty is just so on the other side of the fence, she's like, "Oh, I got to do what Ty says," and raises her hand. And it's just like maybe to your point, it's like maybe now she is trying to make up for like past mistakes again. And the cancer, I think they went more into that in the second season, but that obviously she felt like that was her karma on some level, and that's why, at least my reading on that was that's why she was so like, fuck it, I don't need to get help. I deserve this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Survivor's guilt.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I'll go ahead, Anna.
Well, I was going to say, and Ty too, because she started out as a district attorney, right? Before
Yeah.
she went on to other politics for the Senate and stuff. So I feel like this was the beginning of that for her. She obviously planned to go to law school, I believe it's talked about or in conversation.
I think so, yeah.
But this is like practice for her. So at the end of the day, she's a lawyer who's going to defend her side of the case to the fullest, whether it's right or wrong. And that's kind of what she does in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I mean, even Ben says, I don't have any reason to lie to you. He just felt so genuine. And he is such a fantastic actor. I think his name's Steven Kruger. But man, that whole scene, I was just so like into it, and it was
Me
like
too.
a courtroom drama, literally the
Yeah.
back and forth between them. It was riveting. And then to see the reaction of people behind them, and then Coach gives that monologue, and I was like, man, there's no way they're going to find it in their hearts. They're not these savages. And then they kept doing the revote,
Fucking
the revote.
Shauna.
I'm fucking over her. I text them in the group chat. I said, I'm done with these bitches after that count was over. And then what Shauna says, I don't know if y'all watched the preview for next week. She's like, he tried to burn us down. Then we should take him out the same way.
No,
if
I
they
didn't watch
burn
that.
him alive, I will riot.
Oh my!
Yeah, because we
Was this
didn't
Game of
really
Thrones?
get to see where they were taking him, right? They just said we're just gonna put him over here. I guess probably back in the pen or whatever he was with the
Yeah, he was chilling with the ducks. Yeah.
Next episode, we're gonna see whatever the hell happened. Yeah, maybe he will get lit on fire. I mean, if he really did it, I would be beyond shocked if that is the final twist is that he really did do it. But I feel like they're setting up this something weird about this farce, and they're really going heavy duty the last couple episodes with that. And again, like, it's just Coach, just this guy that you want to feel bad for, and just everybody else wants to feel for it. But then Shauna, she's still pissed she isn't leader. Even Misty fucking calls her out on it. Because she actually, young Misty has a great kind of performance as the defendant, or what's the term for that?
The defense attorney.
Defense attorney, thank you.
Yes.
She's kind of great because she still has that crush on Coach, even though he wants nothing to do with her.
She's got a soft spot for him for sure. Yeah.
And she tries her damnedest, and she kind of gets a bunch of characters to admit things they wouldn't admit. And she kind of, I thought she proved the point that any one of them could have done it, but there's just kind of that vindictiveness there with some of the girls, and just also the final nail in the coffin before Coach gives his speech, honestly, is when Natalie gives her statement, and they all find out, oh, well, you saw him one more time? Oh, you kept that to yourself? Which I thought was kind of bite her in the ass when that happened in season 2, but she was the only one left that hadn't, to me, didn't seem like she had lost it. At least in the moment there when they were doing what they were doing at the end of season 2. But
yeah, because Coach originally was going to take Natalie to that spot, right? But she never actually saw the spot. So, like, you did know that he was going away, but even if they were going to interrogate her more to be like, where's the spot? She'd be like, I never actually went there. Because I think that's when they had to go and get Hobby, right? And that's when they're like, oh, we're doing this now or whatever, and they pretty much drew the card.
That's when Javi ran to save her and say, hey, I'll take you where I've been hiding. He fell through the ice and died, and they said, the wilderness chose. But she just knows, I feel, the general direction of the area it's in.
Yeah.
Because he was leading her that way before he fell. But I feel like we've gotten a lot less of Sophie Thatcher this season just because she's blown up as an actress. Otherwise, she's been in a ton of stuff for the past year, it feels like.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask you guys is at the end of this episode, we get the Ty and Van, let's go to the park, right? Like, oh, you said you always wanted to buy me a pretzel.
Did make me smile. I remember that scene. I was Van did say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it a lot. I was like, oh, this is really cool. But then we get her shaking hands. What do we think that's the cancer? Do we think that's some sort of something going on there that's outside of that?
I think it's just the cancer, because that's then when Ty's like, we gotta do this, and she's like going crazy that she's got a cure, and it's just this thing where I mean, maybe I could be wrong, but I feel like it's just another thing to trigger Ty to be like, oh, we have to take care of this. It's going deeper and deeper into that dark element of herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that is when we get the call from Misty. Is it or Walter gets a hold of Misty
Yeah.
about fucking Lottie. I
Oh,
feel like,
yeah.
as shocking as that was, she's dead. I was like, wait, what?
I don't think
Like
she's dead.
we got 2 shots of her. She was scheming and doing something, and I feel like because of everything that happened with the trial and how pissed I was in that moment, to go out to take this episode out on that note, I felt like was kind of anticlimactic for me. I was
Yeah.
like,
That's
what?
why I feel like she's not dead.
She might not be, but I think they were building towards that because Shauna in the freezer. Again, I think it's not that blonde-haired woman. I think it's this fucking thing trying to get them because it needs sacrifices, and for some reason it's taking them back. It took Travis, it took Natalie, and it took Natalie in a weird way. You know, Misty with the shot, but now it's trying to kill Shauna. But she fucking willed her way. I mean, Randy opened the door, but she essentially willed her way through it, powered through it. She even talks to Elda Purnell again. We haven't seen that in a minute.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of remind you that she also has a psychosis. She's also fucking nuts.
She's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm seriously though, or
Yeah.
it's this again. I can't want to call it an entity or a curse, but this thing fucking with her, and she has to have that willpower to just keep banging on that door instead of just basically literally dying or
Yeah.
getting into the cold rather. And Randy saves her, but I think because she gets escaped from that, well, it still needs a victim, and Van and Ty are over here doing this thing. The show is written in a way where they don't want to show you if certain characters are alive or not, if you haven't seen them as adults. So there is kind of that plot armor element, sure.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, it would be kind of cool, Dustin, if Lottie's faking her death. That would kind of be a good plot twist, honestly. But I think she's dead.
I mean, we found out that she has a lot of money. Like, she went to the bank, right? So, I mean, she was shoplifting also, so who fucking knows?
Right, oh my God.
I think that was just for the thrill of it, like a Winona Ryder thing.
Yeah. What I think would be really crazy, and I'm sure this probably might happen, is if Callie dies. If she somehow gets crossed in this because of Shauna's
put that
rage.
fucking necklace on.
And we also get, as kids, this is also towards like the end when Shauna's like putting her will into everybody's. We get that little like weird like shot of like the like forces like watching them type thing, like an Evil Dead like camera looking at that.
Yeah.
And then we have oh my God, who's the blonde girl who's always at with Shauna now as a young girl? What's her name? Is that
Melissa?
So she's like, you see, that's the power. And then like shakes her hand, and then Lottie's watching them, right? So
Lottie sees what's going on. Yeah.
She knows. So like this, and I think whatever this power is that Shauna has, she must still have, because things are just always working around her. Like, she's able to push it away from her. I feel like there could have been multiple times where she would have already been killed. I mean, last episode, the brakes didn't work.
I mean, even giving birth to that baby. I mean, it's obviously it's a trauma thing. Is the kind of the point, and they even emphasize that in the last episode with her dream where she kind of is swimming and can't get any closer.
Yeah, that was really a great like shot and metaphor for that.
Which I think might even be deeper than I'm realizing, because again, each one of those dreams, like there's the girl with the animals that you always I forget her name, but Akela with the rabbits, and she's even kind of like now pushed into that, getting into the dark side, because earlier it feels like she was just like Lottie was like, oh yeah, you could hear the trees too. It's like, nah. Then Travis is like,
no,
she could hear
get away from me, Lottie.
Yeah, he's like, make her take the fucking mushrooms. I don't want to take them. But now, by the end of this episode, I guess now she's even been fucking swayed and is like, I'll listen now. And it's like, oh God.
Yeah.
This is one of those shows, guys, where I love it, but every character I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I'm heavy on that right now, which is why I'm kind of frustrated, to be honest. And I also just, I don't know. Like I said, just the way they decided Ben in this episode really just pissed me off. And that's I already hated Mari before, and I'm still on the fuck Mari train even more now, because she should have just kept her mouth shut. But everybody's scared of Shauna too. And if we're thinking in terms of the wilderness and this this curse or whatever you want to call it, and sacrifices like they're doing. She kind of gave it the ultimate sacrifice if you think about it, like a
Oh
newborn
yeah.
Yeah,
baby boy child.
and she had
So
really
maybe
bad
the
visions of that too.
wilderness, yeah, maybe the wilderness is like, this is like mother, in
Yeah,
a way, and she's like our queen. We just need to get them to realize it so they can crown her that queen.
Quite literally. Again, I'm just waiting for that. I want to say the other shoe, but many shoes have dropped. The final shoe, the big twist. What the fuck is it? Is it just cursed land? Is it? We saw those sigils on
Yeah,
those trees. They haven't mentioned it in a while, but it
it's been
is
a while.
still.
Yeah.
yeah.
It is very Evil Dead esque. I want to see what that's going to be because I feel like they have been setting it up the entire show. Not to just
Hmm.
repeat myself, but it's like we're getting close to answers. The show's almost over. Like this is the last season, which is
Is it going to
crazy
be
to
the
think.
last season?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh no,
What?
shit! I haven't heard that.
Oh, I hope
Unless
not.
I'm wrong, I'll Google it real quick. But I'm 99% sure it's the
I
last
don't.
season.
I didn't think they had confirmed a season 4. I could be wrong, but yeah. Google it. Let us know.
I'm thinking
Um,
of something kind of crazy right now, and this is definitely not it. But like, I wanna spit something real
Oh,
quick.
okay.
okay.
I stand corrected. They're saying the creators plan for 5 seasons. So wow, maybe we have a lot more to find out.
Oh,
I'm actually gonna
nice. Hell yeah.
Oh,
have to
okay,
read that.
okay.
Five
Well, maybe
seasons.
I feel like we're at least inching towards finding out who this mysterious
Huh?
woman is that's following them around. Is it really Melissa? Did Shauna wrong her somehow? And or there's just more answers that have to explain
Yeah,
that as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
What were you gonna say, Dustin?
So I'm thinking, and like, then again, this is like me just spitting. But what if we know that Shauna has like a really like vivid imagination, right? With the baby and how obviously she was dying, so her mind was going crazy. But what if all this is just in her head?
Mm,
Oh,
I
dude.
did have that
And
thought,
like
but then
she's
that.
thinking of her later in life, and she's like on the everybody crashed. She's the only survivor.
You see, I had to, that's why. Funnily enough, that is kind of where my brain came to Lost. I was like, I don't want to just spoil Lost, but at the end of that show, there is a scene at the end where it's like the whole show did happen,
Hmm.
but they're in purgatory or heaven or
Yeah,
something to that
Right,
effect.
yeah.
It doesn't cancel the show. I know some people think that ruins the show. I don't agree with that logic. The whole show still fucking happened, but I
Yeah.
was thinking like that, and that's why I brought up Lost originally, because I was like, oh, I don't know if I'd like that idea, but maybe they did all just fucking die out in the wilderness, and this is all of their what they thought was going to happen. But I don't know. Like I was thinking that too, Dustin.
yeah.
Something in that vein. I don't know if that's them purposely planting those seed to us audience members or not, or if we're just using it, putting on our fucking tinfoil caps, and just trying to think this one
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
But I was kind of
That's
thinking a similar
interesting.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
I
an
was just
interesting
thinking that
thing.
right now. I'm just like, because I'm seeing like how strong of a character Sean is coming more as a kid, and how many people are now going to her side. So it's like maybe it's all in her head, but I don't know.
I would be disappointed though because I do
I
like
would too.
Jeff and her daughter and some of these other side characters like Elijah Wood. I'd be disappointed if they're just in a dream. It wouldn't
Yeah.
ruin the show, but it would definitely put a different spin on it.
Yeah,
Yeah. I surely to goodness they wouldn't take that kind of route because of how much it reminds us of Lost.
yeah, yeah,
You know, stranded, get
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
something happened and now we're trying to figure it out. Do we go back or not? That kind of thing.
yeah.
So surely they wouldn't. I hope
And they
not.
also keep saying, well, you know what you did when you came back. Like
That's
they keep saying
that's
that. Like, what did they do when they came back?
that's the key line that I am like my gold star is on from
Mm,
this season, because now I feel like there is, we've watched this series as two timelines, wilderness and adult. I feel like there's going to be a middle storyline of when they first
mm,
get rescued and how they are when they come back. Like maybe the wilderness storyline isn't going to end with them getting rescued. Maybe it's going to carry over into, therapy. How does their family cope?
Yeah,
How does
yeah.
Jeff cope with, Jackie being dead and finding out everything with Shauna? There's a lot that could happen. And also, a lot more people could die, just like we're doing now with adults. Like
yeah,
they're wanting to sacrifice people because they think it's coming back to get them. Like, what if more Yellow Jackets were saved, but more got executed, once they got home,
Right,
kind
yeah.
of
yeah.
thing,
We also know Lottie had that cult. I mean, we really don't know. We learned a lot about it, but we didn't really at the same time
Yeah.
last season. So
It was
maybe
just
she
a
was
way,
involved.
just a way to introduce Lottie, I feel like,
Yeah.
and to show us how crazy she is. And
Yeah.
she was the antler queen for a long time, and I guess the first one that really kind of started this whole like faith way of thinking.
Yeah.
She's really in the wilderness and praying to it and all
Yeah.
that. That really came from her.
Mhm.
She's got a third eye. If you've noticed, she has that cut on her
Yeah.
head. Every time I see it, I'm like, "There's her third eye."
Good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
No. Like,
I like it. It's good visual storytelling. I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming that's what they're going for.
yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I feel like up until this episode, this season, I thought was really strong. Like there was a lot of movement, there was a lot of things happening, and I feel like we're halted right here, like real hard. I'm just like, I wanted more. Like the momentum of the previous episode was amazing, and then they go through the notions like and thoughts that we were when Shauna goes to get the car looked at, and she's like, brakes are snapped, right? No, no. Just this one thing isn't working. Oh, so then this happened for that. No, no, it's just
Somebody
regular
fucked
wear
with
and
it.
tear.
Yeah, no, it just
No,
happens. It's called
because we
car
were all
maintenance.
thinking that, and that's what I was thinking too with the theory of the other blonde girl. Like, oh, they cut it to mimic what Misty did to Nat with her car, so it wouldn't start. So that's why I
To
was
make
like,
Shauna
oh,
be suspicious.
yeah,
I mean, that cell phone was. I doubt an entity dropped that cell phone off in the bathroom. So maybe that is the blonde chick. And there is that tape she did get in the mail. We still don't know what the fuck's on that tape.
I
Maybe
know,
Mm-mm.
because
Laura's hiding
Callie
it.
took it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Callie took it.
So it could be both things. I mean, again, I'm saying we don't know a ton about Lottie's cult because we know what she said, and we know how that ended. But maybe there's a deeper part to it. Or maybe there's another cult. I don't know. This is very cult heavy. This series. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be shocked if there's another one out there.
Yeah,
That would be
definitely.
crazy if there was a sub cult.
Maybe that's too much. Maybe don't listen to me, writers of Yellowjackets.
Or like
I'm just
half of the
I'm
group,
throwing ideas out.
half the group
Maybe.
survived and they have like their own like little cult thing as adults, and now we have this
Or,
core group.
War of the cults. Yeah,
Yeah,
two
yeah.
cults at war with each other.
I don't know. This was an interesting episode, definitely to say.
I still think episode 3's been the best so far, just because, man, that the tail end of it was just so wild,
It
and I feel
was.
like it is very visual with storytelling. So those visions or hallucinations in that cave meant something.
Oh
And
yeah.
Akila, I feel like Akila is the only one that's smart enough to hone in on that, and that's why she went to Lottie and is like, okay,
Mhm.
maybe there is something to figure out here because she actually experienced it herself.
Well, and go back to what I said about Van. Maybe she does eventually realize what that meant, but maybe it's too late. Maybe it's after fucking Coach is dead. She's like, "Oh my god," and it's like, "Ah,
Yeah.
whoops." I mean, we'll find out soon.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely probably going to go more insane if Coach does die, because we still don't know.
He might
Still
live.
don't
I
know.
hope he does.
Maybe he finds his way out.
What if the wilderness does its thing
Uh,
and saves him and shows the girls that, like, no, bitches, you can't kill him. He didn't
Kill-
burn your cabin down.
right. Kill somebody else or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have some thoughts of who I think is going to die next as adults. But who, like Anna, I'll start with you. Who do you think is going to be the next one to go?
I don't know. Maybe Misty.
Hmm.
I feel like Shauna, like Melanie Linsky's, I feel like the face of the adults. No, honestly, it might be Van or Ty. I'm going to go with Ty, actually.
Me
I'm not going to.
too.
Oh, really?
Me
That's your
too.
thought?
Yeah, Sean, what
See,
about you?
I was gonna say Van, only because it's like you got to go by at least the way I think about it is like when Natalie died, her storyline. I mean, you could have done more with her. Don't get me wrong, but like her storyline was kind of like she found peace. All right, kill her. Misty, I feel like she has a lot going on still. I mean, they are kind of doing this whole thing where Elijah Wood or Walter keeps pointing out that her friends are really shitty to her, which she's 100% right. But also like they're also justified because he doesn't understand. I mean, he's also a serial killer, by the way, in case we forgot. We
Yeah.
haven't done that in a minute, but there's also that he's like Dexter shit.
Yeah.
But where was I going with that? But like, there is that part of her character, so maybe Walter might kill her out of like some vindictiveness. So maybe there's that. But I feel like Van might die if they're gonna kill another one of the Yellowjackets in the adult Yellowjackets because that would just break Ty totally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially
Totally
she's
right.
trying so hard to save her, going to the risk of just giving this curse to somebody picking up a fucking playing card, whatever that means. We still don't know
Yeah.
the exact significance of that. We can infer a lot of things, especially after that stuff with the waiter, which actually makes her even more evil in my mind, because now she knows that they have some kind of way to make this happen, which maybe they knew this whole time and then we're just finding out.
Yeah.
And actually trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's just some pretty fucked up shit when you really start kind of really
Oh,
breaking
yeah.
it down. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess I like the character and I like the actress quite a bit. Originally, I seen her in 6 Feet Under. She was great in that.
Oh yeah, Lauren Ambrose. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. So I'd love to keep her around, but if I'm just thinking Shauna's too important, maybe you kill Jeff. Maybe that's something to shock to the system.
Or Callie.
Oh, not Jeff. Not Jeff.
Yeah, or the daughter. I mean, as fucked up as that would be, maybe that would be. I don't know. It's got to be a good drama thing. I feel like it's got to make sense.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a cop out answer. So I guess my answer's Van, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
So
Yeah.
what I was thinking, and like I want to go towards Van because obviously they're hinting that really hard, right? But I feel like they've been doing that a lot with hinting someone's going to die, and it's not that person. So
Mhm.
I'm just saying with Anna, I think it's going to be Ty. I think Ty is going to get killed. Van's going to snap. She's going to go after Shauna, and then somebody on Shauna's side, maybe it's Jeff or Callie, is going to die, and they're going to find out that Lottie's dead. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Because I feel like right now, like I said, I don't think Lottie's death, the way they did it at the end of that episode was enough after what we just experienced with Ben to be a shock to the system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she just came in last season. I feel like it needs to be one of the OG adults, one of the 4 that started, just like they did with Nat, and
I still can't
kill
get
one
over
of them
that.
off.
And I mean, there's still got to be some significance to whatever she talked to Shauna's daughter about. Like,
Yeah.
that was kind of weird. I mean, we didn't see it, obviously, but Misty's like, oh, I broke it up. But it's like, no, she told her some shit she probably wasn't supposed to say. And then, like, 2 days later, is dead.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good point. Like maybe the wilderness knew that she spilled the beans and punished her for it.
Do we know
mean,
who
again,
left a tape? Was it Lottie that left that tape?
We don't
No,
know.
it's the
We don't
it's
know.
It was
the
just
mystery woman.
Mystery woman. Okay.
Cell phone person, I'm assuming, because
Yeah.
didn't she find out who it was, but we didn't find out? They're like, whose phone is? Oh, we found out, but like it was. Like,
Yes,
only
she
for-
did get the details on that, and that's why I was
We
like,
don't
it
know
has to be. That's why I'm still sticking to my theory, and
Yeah.
like it's gonna be somebody who's posing as Misty or it would be Melissa, like as older, because we still don't know who's still alive and who's not
Yeah.
from the kids.
Exactly. Yeah, they're still popping up.
And I also said maybe it's Coach, maybe he survived and he
Yeah.
got like a prosthetic leg, but
That would be a wild twist, because they really want you to think he's gonna bite the big one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be cool if maybe he escapes death somehow and then it's revealed that he's the one that's been fucking with them and maybe there's a reason for it.
I just look at how many people are left, and I'm thinking, man, like it's like what you guys were saying earlier. If they got off the or out of the wilderness, and some people died when they got back, and then the adults, like we know Travis, Natalie, and a few other characters died when they got back. Who actually survived? Mari, I don't know if she's making it out based on how the rest of them feel about her, but maybe she will. Then there's some other characters. There's very few characters that don't have lines anymore. There's like 1 or 2 that might get a sentence.
Yeah.
But almost everybody's talking now that's left.
Yeah.
So it's like, who's really left that's like a red shirt? There's not really anyone, right?
Very true, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the show a lot though.
I did notice that
Same.
one girl who at Coach's trial, they got several shots of her and I was like,
Yeah.
she's a new background person. Like I
Jen?
haven't.
That girl?
I think
The
she's
one-
been there, but she's the one that like barely talks at all. Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of shocked that they don't give her any lines. Maybe she's a bad actress. She can only do faces.
Maybe. She's pretty good at her facial expressions, so maybe they said, well, we'll just go with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
Well, did you guys have anything else you wanted to touch on this episode?
I don't think so. There wasn't. Unfortunately, there really wasn't a ton to talk about in this one. Like
I know, other than the trial.
and us
and
just
Lottie.
guessing what the next one's going to be. You know.
I mean, the trial was very interesting, but it is kind of a gimmick episode on some level.
Yeah, very true.
It's very much the center of what they're trying to get at, and I think it's actually very well done. But if you don't like that, or if you feel like it goes on for too long, that's the episode. And so, like you said earlier, Dustin, some of those beats with the adults, I get what they're trying to do. It's character building, but some of it's just kind of like, all right, we get it. Can we get to
Yeah.
the next part?
And I think it becomes that way with this show because there are so many characters.
That's why they keep killing people off, I think.
Yeah, they've got
We have to have a
give us
mass
something
extinction
interesting.
event that's going to happen with them. It's going to make all of them wiped out.
Well,
Massive
Callie's
sigil on the planet just appears.
yeah, so like Psycho Gorman in a way, it just pops up and starts murdering everyone.
No.
No. I feel like Callie's gonna spiral over Lottie's death. I really hope that
Oh,
maybe
yeah, that's a good point.
something on that.
Maybe
I want to know
Callie
what's on
killed
that
her.
tape.
Maybe she listened to the tape and it like fucked with her.
Oh, the tape. Yeah,
Ooh.
maybe if that is Lottie's tape, if it's not one of the other characters, then it's gonna be watched by the end of the season. They've been kind of keeping it in the background. What did they do? Like a kind of Scream 3 thing with the one guy, he's got the fucking videotape.
Randy.
Randy
About the
like,
rules. Yeah.
Oh, if I die, here, watch this, just to
Watch
get him his little
this.
cameo. Maybe it'll be something like that. Lottie will be speaking to her, like, I'm going to die in 4 days. I had a prophecy. I mean, who knows? It's Lottie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All my money is to you now. I signed everything over to you. Do not tell your mom.
Oh shit.
God, right?
That would be yeah, that'd be interesting.
Because she was at the bank at the beginning, right? And was she
Mhm.
taking a withdrawal or what was she doing there? I think she was taking out money, right? Or
I
something.
feel like she was transferring like funds or something, like moving maybe something from a checking to a savings or whatnot.
I mean, she does see things, so it wouldn't shock me. I mean, I don't know if that tape would have that on there because it came before that, but if she's seeing this stuff, like the not prognosis, wrong term, prophesizing.
Yeah, she's having a prophecy. Yeah,
that she knew the daughter would steal the tape, then maybe. But I feel like that might be 2 different incidents. But I like that idea that she gave her all the money. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Mom,
so
I don't know.
I think maybe the tape. What if the tape is what happened when they got back? What if they had more rituals and they filmed it and somebody kept that tape and that's like their blackmail now?
Oh, like Jeff in the first season, but an actual threat this time?
Yeah, like an actual threat. It might be a bit of a cop out if they did that, just based on the first season's plot with Jeff doing that. But that's just what. That's honestly what set this entire adult storyline.
Yeah.
On the course it's on now, all because of Jeff.
And then Shauna making it worse. Shauna just kept twisting it, like what she's doing right now as a kid. Like she just finds a way to just make things worse. It's like
she needs to shut up and listen to somebody.
We got to take her out. We got to take her out. She needs to. I think if Shauna's gone, the whole thing ends.
Missy might be doing that.
The 2 of them, honestly, but I mean, again, it just kind of goes back to that great character writing. I mean, the way they wrote these characters, it's like, shit, she's annoying as a teenager and she's annoying as an adult, but you could kind of see where she's coming from on some things. Sometimes I'm just like, holy shit, what are you doing? But I'm like, she's been through some serious trauma. Like, I get it to a point, but then you're just like, maybe you're just being kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
But then there's no show, that's what creates the drama, of course.
Right, yeah. It is a drama at the heart of it. Everything else is just subgenre stuff, which is what makes it interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I wonder if there's going to be any more time jumps. Like maybe we might get another episode in the spring, and maybe the last 5 episodes.
The kids side.
Yeah, like maybe the last 5 episodes of the season or something is them back in winter, and they're having to
because they're like in like
figure out how to
spring now, right? Like spring, almost summery. I think is where they probably landed.
And they were out there for, I believe, 18 or 19 months. So you got to figure 1 full year. And I think they'll experience winter twice. And then they'll probably get picked up the following, maybe at the end of winter or something.
I think they crashed around the same time they're in
summer.
right now, right? So it would have been summer.
It was summer, yeah.
So yeah, we're already essentially one full year in already. So yeah, we will be witnessing another winter for sure.
Yeah.
And then be picked up in like spring of the following year. So
probably, yeah. Maybe
that's
January.
When the cannibalism will begin again when the fucking snow starts.
Yep. And we have to see what the opening shot of this whole series was, because they are chasing somebody who is blonde.
I know. Fucking pit girl. Nuh-uh. It looked like Mari.
Oh, was it?
She had dark brown hair.
Now I have to go back and rewatch that now. Oh shit!
Yeah, see, I was thinking about that earlier, but I thought they had shown that already. But I guess they didn't show the pit trap in that other scene. Was that the end of season 1 or 2 or something, where she wears the crown?
I don't remember.
Was that 1 or 2?
I think, well, that was the pilot when we see Pit Girl fall in and then they have that first ritual. That's
Yeah.
like the first part. But
Maybe,
there
maybe
were
that was
other,
season 2. Yeah.
yeah, there was another instance where they've had a ritual and somebody's had on the Antler Queen
Okay.
garb.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure about that, but well, you mentioned the pit trap. I forgot about that. So that's got to be coming soon. You're
Yeah.
right, or next year, one or the other.
And it's going to be
And
the
I think
pit, like
now,
Anna said. It's going to be the pit that Coach caught and found all the stuff in there.
Oh man, that's gonna be poetic. They're gonna do that on purpose.
Oh, they keep Coach alive just to see him, have him watch all of this stuff. Maybe that's his punishment.
God.
You have to
Oh, I
watch
meant,
us
I
eat
meant,
each other.
oh God, I meant put Mari's the one that falls in it because it's like, well, you fell in that pit, and then see, I don't know. Now I'm really getting in the rabbit hole, but
that
But I
would be
love this though.
interesting.
This is the best
I
part
do
of
too.
this.
I love that. Yeah. Like Mari falls in once and fucks her knee up, and then this time she falls in and she like is spiked.
Yeah, and it's
Tomb
winter,
Raider style.
so the whole like atmosphere and everything would just look different because it's all snowed over, and she's obviously running for her life.
In a nightgown and barefoot.
Yeah.
Cold as shit.
one of the best pilots ever, by the way.
No doubt. I mean, that's what I said. I was like, I don't know anybody who watched that pilot episode and can honestly say they weren't intrigued, at least somewhat,
I mean, if it lost you further in, I don't get it, but okay. But you had to at least watch episode 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See where it goes from there. Yeah.
And then you get sucked in, and then there's
Mhm.
glitter everywhere, and then you find out who had the glitter on him, and then you're like, oh, okay. And then Shauna fucks it up.
I know.
Oh, man.
Well, alrighty. I think that does it for episode 4 of Yellowjackets. I'm excited to see where we go next week. Like I said, if they burn Coach, I'm going to riot. I'm going to be pissed.
Me too. Me too.
Same.
Sean, thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad that I've noticed doing this. Like, I've seen more people like comment and be like, "Oh, I love Yellowjackets," or comment their theories, and I'm like, "Oh, you guys like Yellowjackets too." So I'm glad we got you on to spin some theories with us.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I like the show a lot. I don't really get to talk about it too often, so it was a blast.
Hell yeah. Alrighty, guys. We'll see you next week for episode 5. Signing off. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Have a good one.